Now, Christopher, I want to look at the current trends in cybersecurity and how they're evolving. We're seeing a convergence of cyber threats and fraud, and with AI accelerating both the scale and the sophistication of attacks, what are the most urgent patterns that you're seeing emerge?
Yeah, so look, there's, first of all, thank you for having me here. But then as we get into it, there's all kinds of convergence going on here. We have a sort of an element of, for sure, cyber attacks of those sort of things. And then we think about fraud being over here, where we sort of have lived in two different worlds historically. I think we're seeing them coming together. There's an element of what you'd think about as cyber and physical coming together. There's an element that I would say a similar sort of convergence where we used to have cyber attacks emerging out of Russia, and in particular in the sort of the fraud world, cyber criminal world, where we would say that we didn't even have just a cyber crime problem, we had a Russian cyber crime problem. Now we're seeing cyber crime between the English-speaking world, the sort of what we're seeing in South America and out of Russia coming together, and some of those communities coming together. And finally, I'll say that we used to, on the cyber side, say that we had sort of, there was a cyber crime side that would be mostly about stealing money, would have nation states focused on stealing secrets. Now we're seeing countries like North Korea and Iran building practices to be able to steal money to fund some of the government operations they need, whether it's for weapons programs and the like. So we're seeing nation states and cybercrime coming together. And some of these trends here they're not good.
It's really interesting you say that. I mean, the other thing that we're seeing are hacktivists as well. So we've got these three groups, and they're not operating separately. They're collaborating, and they're sharing, and they're learning from one another.
Absolutely. And they sometimes can be very explicitly sort of collaborating. In some cases, whether it's hacktivists that, I don't know, Russia is sort of enabling a set of hacktivists. Sometimes they're sort of quietly in the background, sharing techniques, methods, these sort of things. And sometimes they're frankly just learning by observing. And this is where we, unfortunately, on the good side, are not as good as we should be about collaborating at the pace that the bad guys are collaborating.
We're going to come on to that in a few minutes. I love that.